Good credit to ETSU. Thought it was a hard-fought game, and they shot the cover off the ball in the second half, and unfortunately we didn't. I heard for our guys, I think our guys are playing hard. I think they're competing. I know they care, I do, but 6 for 33 from three. It's a hard game. I mean, it's a hard game when you just can't get the ball to go in. I mean, we do such a much better job of taking care of the ball this game. Only turned the ball over 9 times. I mean, that's got to be a top 5 for this team this year versus a very good defense and a team that we turned the ball over 22, 23 times up there. Thought we got pretty good look quality, without seeing it on tape. I think it was 45-41 us. We got 2 wide open looks. I mean, they were horse shots, and we missed both. And they go down and make both. And then in that stretch, we go 0 for 6 from 3. They go 5 for 5 from 3. I mean, they got their post players making threes. And so you got to give them credit. They're playing with a ton of confidence right now. They're playing with a ton of belief. It's going to be hard to find a box score anywhere in the country where you win the free throw line, you win the paint, you win the glass, and you win the turnover battle and you lose. But it also shows you why it's called basketball, because the ball's got to go in the basket. And if you don't rebound the ball and you make all your shots, well, if rebound doesn't matter as much as you think if you double a team up from the 3-point line. And so, they make 12 threes, got smoking hot there in that stretch where they made 5 in a row. And before that stretch, after that stretch, the game's probably pretty even. But that can in a big game, and in a game where 2 teams are playing against each other, they're pretty good and play hard and compete. You have a stretch like that. I mean, you look back and we play against teams that go 30. I guess what do we go? I'm sorry. If we get to play against people that go 18% from 3, we're probably going to win most of those games. So I've got to help these guys somehow. Most of the time our teams play with a lot of confidence, and unfortunately, like we don't have collective confidence right now. And we spent the majority of our prep time really trying to put our guys in positions not to turn the ball over and to be able to get some looks versus their aggressive ball screen defense. And like I said, I think we're going to look at it. We're going to see some shots and some possessions we're going back, of course. But over the course of the game, I mean, look quality, I think is going to probably grade out as well, if not better than it does in some of our wins. And, I know these guys care. I know they're working hard. We got to keep our morale. We got to figure out how we can help them more. I've got to do a better job giving our team confidence. And then we got to go throw a couple in. I mean, it's just like, we shoot 33 threes historically around here. I mean, we're making 9 of them, 10 of them on an average night. And, we make that tonight, we probably win the game. But because of how hard we played in other areas. And so, it's, if you're getting 13 offensive rebounds versus a team like that, like you're competing. Like you're playing hard. If you only turn the ball over 9 times after you just turn it over 20 plus times, and you get to the free throw line 28 times and you win the paint by 2, you win the second chance by 5. Turnovers are basically equal at 14-12. They make 12 threes, we make 6, and we shoot 9 more. Well, lose the line by 18 points, lose by 9. Tough night.
Coach Emmett said that about the 3-pointers in the second half, and I know it's a totally different animal. Obviously, people look at the standings and see that. But you were 12 out of 12 on 2s in the second half Saturday, and at one point in the second half tonight, you were 8 out of 10 on 2s. Obviously, the score dictated what you had to do in the final minutes, and obviously it's easy to say now, but do you think maybe some of the 3s would have been better if you just maybe tried to drive instead based on how well you were shooting inside the arc? Just food for thought.
Yeah, you're always going to take quality 2s, and I think that in the first half we were 4 for 10 at the rim, so we were getting the ball at the rim, and they were either playing with strong verticality or they were blocking our shot. They fronted Coop, and we were having to call some plays to get him the ball down there. We got to do a better job sealing and being more physical down there. But look, it's not like we're telling them not to shoot twos and to take threes. I think when you look at how our team's built, Tom House is a shooter, Alex is a three-level scorer, Ace is a shooter, Chuck Johnson has been playing better lately because he's been hitting threes. You know, Ed Bronson, most of the time, he's gonna shoot. You know, like he's one I wish would attack more. You know, I think that it's birds fly, fish swim, right? Like shooters shoot, drivers drive. Sometimes you get a couple players that can do a little bit of both. But the way our team is built, if you have certain guys driving a lot, that's not gonna work out too well, right? Like if you have certain guys shooting a bunch, you know, when Ben decided to shoot that corner three, that wasn't a good shot. You know, like he needs to drive that ball. Some of our best attackers are some of our younger guys, and you know, we've put Bob back in the game the last couple of games. I think he probably could have played a little bit more tonight. Cole obviously can put the ball on the deck a little bit. Colin, when he's healthy and normal, we saw how he was attacking the paint. But you know, we're not necessarily just built to, you know, deck you. We're built to create half-step advantages, to cut you, you know, to open up space, and to be able to play off of 2 feet. And the reason why we get good twos, you know, it's like Cooper leads the country in 2-point field goal percentage, okay? Because of the movement and the concepts and us getting in the paint and drawing advantage, and all of a sudden we're throwing lob dunks, uncontested. Now, if a team would let us come down the court every possession and do that, that would be a really fun night, right? But you have to earn that through really good offense, and you got to create a half a step advantage to where you get 2 on the ball, and then all of a sudden now you can try to play over the top, and you can get a drive where they have to step up, and we can see if we can get that too. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Scott. I mean, I don't know if we're built to necessarily just pound it in and, you know, seal you off and duck you in. I mean, we've tried a lot of that, and we're going to continue to try some of that, but you know, we kind of, at this point in the year, you kind of are what you are. And we've got, I think Alex is a good 3-point shooter. I think Ace is a good 3-point shooter. I think Chuck's a good 3-point shooter. But they go 4 for 19 tonight. You know, it's hard. It puts a lot of pressure, you know, on the rest. And then it's not like we had a guy, you know, those were the 3 double-figure scorers. And so they're still scoring while they're not necessarily connecting from 3. And that's where I got to figure out. I just got to figure out how we can help them. I really did. I could be wrong once I watched the film. I thought our ball movement was fantastic. I mean, I really did. I thought we generated some good movement. I thought we got the ball to the pocket. I didn't always thought we made the right play out of the pocket once we got it in there. But I thought we did a much better job keeping 2 feet on the ground. I thought we did a much better job just not giving them the ball and just letting them go play in transition. And, you know, I'm sure there's going to be some possessions where maybe we will say, hey, instead of shooting that one, we should have driven that one. But then again, I mean, if you got Alex Wilkins on a 3, you feel good about that. If you get Asa Thomas on a 3, you feel good about that. Chuck, Tom, you know, like we gotta trust our players, and we gotta figure out ways to continue to build some confidence in them. Because when the ball does go in, and you win the backboard, and you win the free throw line, and you win the turnover margin, right? Like you're gonna win the majority of those games. And I don't think we needed to hit 12 threes tonight. But we need to hit 9. We need to go 9 for 33. I don't know what the numbers are on that, but you know, we need to hit 9 of them instead of 6.
You mentioned the ETSU game, and really you've won the toughness stats in both games. But they're 19 of 41 from 3-point range in 2 games against you guys. And then if you look back at the UNCG game, it felt like they were very efficient from 3-point range. Is there something that maybe you can pinpoint on film as to what's leading to that efficiency?
Well, I mean, you go through their 3-point shooting tonight, there's a plethora of reasons. I mean, they got 2 pick and pops, which, you know, they're post players. We're gonna be okay with that. And they hit both of them. You know, I think in the first half, we're trying to play the ball screen 2-on-2. We overhelped twice. On just recollection I can have in the game. Alex comes in, overhelps for no reason. Ben comes in, overhelps for no reason. We give up wide open 3s. You know, but look, making shots is contagious, missing shots is contagious. You get a team that starts to feel it. I mean, Greensboro here, I mean, they had a 24% 3-point shooter go for 2 for 2. One of them's late clock, heavy contested by Coop. The other one, he's basically falling away and he nails it. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't again, if we just got destroyed on the glass, didn't get to the free throw line, turned the ball over, and it just looked like we just got punked, and I'd be concerned, right? Like, if a good team comes in here and plays well, and they make shots, then hey, sometimes you got to tip their hat, right? Like that's a good team. I mean, they've won 20 games, right? Brooks did a really good job with that team. They're old. They got some depth. They got a lot of good pieces, and so they got rolling. And then Matthews just was scorching. I mean, Matthews goes 6 for 9 from 3. I mean, guy comes off the bench for him, plays 24 minutes, takes 11 shots, and goes 6 for 9 from 3. Right. So, I mean, he outscored our whole bench from the 3-point line. You know, I mean, he goes 18 points. Our bench gets 10. Right. He gets 18 off the bench just from the 3-point line. And so, you know, we got to look and see. A couple of those, there were some loose balls, some rebounds that you know, definitely they won those 2 particular 50-50 balls. We'll have to go and just kind of look at what the trends of those are. But you know, look, first half, I think they shot 38% from the floor. We shot 31. It was just a classic rock fight, and it was going to come down to which team made shots in the second half and both teams were getting offensive rebounds, which teams kind of settled the glass a little bit. They made shots in the second half, and we didn't. And look, if the shot quality is poor, if we go back and look at the tape and we don't like the shot quality, then that's on us, right? We got to get better shots, and we got to put our guys in better positions. I think when you look at the turnovers and only being at 9, and you look again, we got 2 more field goals than they did. We got 9 more free throws than they did. You know, like, it's just, like I said, they call it basketball for a reason. They don't call it basket shot. They call it basketball. Ball's got to go in the basket. And we gotta continue. We gotta change the stimulus somehow. I gotta do something different. I gotta figure out how to get these guys believing. And it's gonna be a hard challenge. You know, they deal with all the noise around it. And hopefully to just help them understand that they're trying, man. Like, that's what I hate for them. They're fighting. They care. They battled so much this year, and I'm not mad at them. I'm disappointed for them. I hate it for us. I think, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, we got to work through it. So,
are these the most frustrating losses because you can't? You know, you lose a game where you played hard and the other team, you know, just made shots. Is that what, are these losses somehow more frustrating than ones where you can pinpoint that team out hustled?
yeah, I mean, we've lost 4 games in the last 5 games, and I think our defensive numbers are better over the average of the whole year. You know, like if you go, where are we, 17-11 now? So we've lost 4, so we were 16-7 before this run. And we've been 1-4 in this stretch, and I think our defense is a better points per possession than it is in all of that stretch at 16-7. But our offense is just completely, and I've been on them hard about, you know, we just gotta get good ones, and as long as we get good ones, we got great shooters, we just gotta trust it. And so we spent a lot of time, you know, playing off penetration, playing on 2 feet, passing, you know, just basics. And I thought, you know, if we continue to do that, which we did in the VMI game, that if we just control the shot quality, that we'll make enough of them. And my gut, being there live and watching the game tonight, like I said, like I thought we had a stretch there. We were up 4, and I'm just telling you, we could have gotten 2 better looks. And you know, that's not the whole game, but it's a piece of the game where we gotta see the ball go in. So shot it well on Saturday. Obviously that was a zone, but we shot it better than we did the first time we played VMI here. And you know, but our 3-point percentage in this 5-game stretch, after when you put an 18% on it, I mean, my guess is it's probably 28, somewhere in there. And we got to be a little bit better than that.
I have watched mainly on TV lately. However, since the 11 turnover game, it struck me that Alex was sort of trying to be facilitator, not so much dishing the ball out. Then tonight, he looked like he was having fun, concentrating. He looked to me more like the player that was the leading scorer earlier in the year. And he looked like to me he did it all. Maybe not all successfully, but it looked like he's regained his, I don't know, his groove.
Yeah, I thought he had a great game tonight. I thought he, 21 points, he draws 8 fouls, 3 assists, had 3 turnovers, but that's coming off a team that the first time he played, he had 11 turnovers, and that's the growth of him. I mean, he's in my office yesterday watching film for an hour, wanting to make sure he understands where the tags are. And these guys are hedging, and they're pulling all the way in, and got to see where those guys are coming. I mean, I thought he did a great job reading it tonight. And look, he's in the locker room crying. I mean, he cares. He's out there shooting free throws. I mean, he's grown so much this year, and that's where my heart breaks for him a little bit right now as a team. I mean, they've done a lot of really good things, and they just keep showing up. And I thought there was a stretch there for 3 games where, Mercer, he didn't make a field goal until like 4 minutes to go. I think in the VMI game, he goes like 30 minutes without making a field goal. And he has that nice little stretch in the last 10 minutes of that game. And he just kept working. And he doesn't even know how much he's really grown from when he got here in June and now, because nobody looks at him as a freshman. Most times you see freshmen out there and you kind of, oh, he's a freshman. Well, we look at him as like one of the best guards in the league. And so our expectation of what we need him to do, we put so much on him. But he scores 21 points tonight on 13 shots. We got him out there. Anytime he can get out there, man, I played 33 minutes tonight. It's about as much as he can play. We're trying to figure it out in medias where we can just keep him on the court. And, like I said, he's going to continue to grow, and his gifts are incredible. And as he continues to add weight, as he continues to see all type of ball screen coverages, the reps that he's getting, how much he has the ball in his hands here, and then all of a sudden has a he's just a freshman. So then now this off season, how much is he going to gain from a strength standpoint, from all the things that we talked about from a ball security standpoint, shot selection when you're the guy that's, hey, you're the best player on the floor, like you got to hunt great ones. And I thought he did, like tonight. It was late in the game. The margin was they had already extended the margin pretty good, but he came off that ball screen going right to left, and he just stepped right into a 3 and shot it, and he hit it. Like, those are the plays where instead of coming off that thing, seeing he's open, kind of hesitating, and then going to a step back, low percentage shot, he steps right into that thing right off the dribble and sticks it. And that's a shot I want him taking. I want him being decisive. I want him being a player that plays with a ton of confidence. And, if he's going to go in the paint, I want him to play on 2 feet. If he's going to jump in there and take one, I want him to jump straight up and take a good one. But, look, I want him playing free, and I want him to be able to have the space that he needs. And, we're putting a lot on his plate, but at the end of the day, that's going to continue just to make him better. And his growth since June has been tremendous. And I think the most exciting thing about him with the correct development, like he has a lot more that he can continue to get better at, and he knows that.
Coach, it seems like when 2 good teams get together like this, often like a secret weapon, so to speak, can be a difference. And I thought for them, Matthews was. Matthews had like 60 points this year coming into the night, and 14 of those came against Converse since he's an opener. I don't think he's had double digits since. You only have 2 days to prepare, and I can't imagine you prepare for the entire squad going into a game. Because you just speak to.
Well, I mean, they were without one of their better players tonight in Barkley. It actually, because of how we play, it's all matchup based, right? Like, for us having 2 bigs, they spaced us out more without Barkley out there. And even though he's a really good player for them, and he's one of the better post players in the league, it would have been a little bit easier for us defensively with Chuck and Coop out there to play those 2 as opposed to, they basically played 4 guards a lot of the night. And so now it put us in a position where we couldn't play Chuck and Coop together quite as much. And I thought, they had a lot of lineups where they got Taylor out there, they got Smith out there, and they got Matthews out there around Cam, but then it's either Struthers or Johnson, where they're basically playing, 4 guys that can space you around a really, really good post player. And so we had no prep on that. I mean, we saw him out in the boot, and before the game, and we've been preparing for two bigs, and we were helping from and all that, but no excuse in terms of, us being able to not guard them from the 3-point line. We gotta look at that and see how he made 6 threes on us, but you also gotta give him his credit. I mean, he got into a rhythm, and, he shot 66% from three tonight. I think that's a pretty good percentage.
I'm good.
All right, well, hey, look, we're gonna keep battling, we're gonna keep working, this group's got no quit, and, we gotta just we got 3 games left, and we gotta try to go instill some more confidence in these guys, and, hang in there with us, we're gonna keep fighting, I can promise you that.